The Nutcracker and the Four Realms is a 2018 American Christmas fantasy film directed by Lasse Hallström and Joe Johnston. It is a retelling of both the 1816 short story The Nutcracker and the Mouse King and the 1892 ballet The Nutcracker, about a young girl who is gifted a locked egg from her deceased mother and sets out in a magical land to retrieve the key. The film stars Keira Knightley, Mackenzie Foy, Eugenio Derbez, Matthew McFadyen, Richard E. Grant, Misty Copeland, Helen Mirren, and Morgan Freeman. The film was announced in March 2016 with Hallström directing from a script by Powell. Much of the cast signed on that summer, and filming began in October at Pinewood Studios, lasting through January 2017. In December 2017, it was announced Johnston would direct a month of reshoots, with Hallström agreeing to Johnston receiving co-directing credit. The reshoots were written by Tom McCarthy, who went uncredited, and Powell received a sole credit as screenwriter. Composer James Newton Howard scored the film, adapting elements from Tchaikovsky's music for the 1892 ballet, while Gustavo Dudamel served as conductor, leading the London Philharmonia Orchestra. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms premiered at the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles on October 29, 2018, and was released by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures in the United States on November 2. The film was a box office disappointment, grossing $174 million worldwide against a production budget between $120 to $133 million and losing Disney over $65 million. For it received generally negative reviews, with criticisms of its story and Knightley's performance, although the film's visual effects and aesthetics were praised. Plot: on Christmas Eve in Victorian London, Benjamin Stahlbaum gives his children Louise, Clara, and Fritz the presents his wife Marie had set aside for them before she died. Clara receives an egg-shaped box that she cannot unlock, together with a note saying everything you need is inside. The family goes to a Christmas Eve party, hosted by the children's godfather, skilled engineer Drosselmeyer. Clara asks Drosselmeyer how to unlock her egg. He reveals that he made the egg for Marie when she was younger. Benjamin confronts Clara for refusing to dance with him, and they insult each other. Drosselmeyer announces the time for presents has come, and the children head into a garden maze to find strings with their names attached to them. Clara finds the string with her name on it, signifying her gift, and follows it into a forest in a parallel world where she spots a key. Before she can grab it, a mouse snatches it and crosses a frozen river. Captain Phillip Hoffmann, the Nutcracker, leads Clara across the bridge into the Fourth Realm, where they barely escape the Mouse King and Mother Ginger, the regent of the Fourth Realm. Captain Phillip brings Clara to the palace, where she meets the regents of each land, the Sugar Plum Fairy of the Land of Sweets, Shiver of the Land of Snowflakes, and Hawthorn of the Land of Flowers. They tell Clara they are at war with the Land of Amusements, which they refer to as the Fourth Realm. It is also revealed that Marie was the beloved queen of this magical land and, thus, Clara is the princess. The Sugar Plum Fairy explains that Marie created this world as a young girl and that she animated everyone with a machine that can turn toys into real people. Sugar Plum says this machine can be used to defend the three realms against Mother Ginger, but it needs a key matching the one for Clara's egg. Sneaking into the Fourth Realm, Clara and Phillip steal back the key from Mother Ginger, ignoring her warning that Sugar Plum is lying to them, but Clara is disappointed to discover that the egg is only a music box. Sugar Plum uses the machine to bring toy soldiers to life and orders them to attack the Fourth Realm. She then reveals that she lied about Mother Ginger, who had resisted Sugar Plum's plan to take over all four realms in revenge for her perceived abandonment by Marie, and that the machine can turn this world's people back into toys as well. She imprisons Clara, Captain Phillip, and the male regents, causing Clara to blame herself. Clara opens her egg-shaped music box again and discovers a mirror, illustrating that all she needed was herself. She and the other prisoners escape. One of Mother Ginger's mice shows Clara into the engine room, and Captain Phillip convinces Mother Ginger to help overthrow Sugar Plum. Clara shuts down the machine while fighting off soldiers with Mother Ginger's aid. Sugar Plum attempts to turn Mother Ginger back into a toy, but Clara tinkers with the engine so it aims back at Sugar Plum when activated, turning her back into a porcelain doll and rendering her entire army lifeless. Thanked for restoring peace among the realms and the destruction of Sugar Plum, Clara promises to visit in the future. After saying goodbye to Captain Phillip, she returns to London, where time has hardly passed since she left. She and Benjamin apologize to each other and she finally decides to dance with him. He accepts, and Clara opens her music box. Benjamin reveals that the music was the first song that he and Marie had ever danced to. They dance throughout the night in the ballroom. Cast. Icon. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. May 2025, learn how and when to remove this message. Mackenzie Foy as Clara Stahlbaum, a young girl who travels into the Four Realms, searching for a key of a gift from her late mother Marie. Keira Knightley as the Sugar Plum Fairy, the regent of the Land of Sweets. Jaden Fowler as Captain Phillip Hoffmann, a nutcracker who helps Clara on her journey. Helen Mirren as Mother Ginger, regent of the Land of Amusements, also known as the Fourth Realm. Morgan Freeman as Drosselmeyer, Clara's godfather, a skilled engineer, who gives her a magical gift that once belonged to her mother. Eugenio Derbez as Hawthorne, regent of the Land of Flowers. Richard E. Grant as Shiver, regent of the Land of Snowflakes. Misty Copeland as the ballerina princess, a gifted dancer in the mysterious Four Realms. Matthew McFadyen as Benjamin Stahlbaum, Clara's father and a widower following the death of his wife Marie. Anna Madeley as Queen Marie Stahlbaum, Clara's late mother who created and ruled over the Four Realms as a child. Sergei Polanin as the Sweets Cavalier, a dancer who performs alongside the ballerina princess. Ellie Bamber as Louise Stahlbaum, Clara's older sister. Tom Sweet as Fritz Stahlbaum, Clara's younger brother. Jack Whitehall as Harlequin, a guard at the Palace of the Four Realms. Omid Jalili as Cavalier, another guard at the Palace of the Four Realms and Harlequin's cohort. Mira Seal as the Stahlbaum's cook, a staff member in the Stahlbaum household. Charles Lil Buck Riley as the Mouse King, ruler of the Legion of Mice. Riley also provided the choreography and motion capture performance for the character. Prince, the horse, as Jingles the horse. Gustavo Dudamel as conductor. Max Westwell as Flower Cavalier. Aaron Smith as Snow Cavalier. Production. Development. On March 4, 2016, the project was first announced, which stated that Walt Disney Pictures was developing the Nutcracker and the Four Realms, with Lasse Hallström set to direct, continuing its model of developing classic fairy tales. The project is based on the Nutcracker and the Mouse King by E.T.A. Hoffmann, with Ashley Powell on board to write the script. The Mark Gordon Company is also on board as a co-production company with Mark Gordon producing with Lindy Goldstein executive producing for the company. 5. Casting. In July 2016, Mackenzie Foy, Misty Copeland, and Morgan Freeman joined the cast. 6-7-8 in August 2016, Keira Knightley and Helen Mirren joined the cast. 9-10 in September 2016, Ellie Bamber joined the cast. 11 in October 2016, Miranda Hart joined the cast. 12 However, her character was later removed from the film. In March 2017, Eugenio Derbez confirmed that he had been cast in the film. 13 later Jack Whitehall joined the cast. Filming. Filming began in October 2016 in South Kensington and Pinewood Studios in England and wrapped in late January 2017. 14 in December 2017, it was reported that Joe Johnston would direct 32 days of reshoots, written by Tom McCarthy, due to Hallström being unavailable. Hallström would still oversee post-production. 15. It was later revealed that Hallstrom and Johnston had voluntarily decided to receive joint directorial credit for the film. 16. Music. Main article, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, soundtrack. The music was adapted in part from Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker from 1892 by James Newton Howard, altering the original and adding new tracks as well. 17. For the recording, Gustavo Dudamel conducted the London Philharmonia Orchestra, while Lang Lang was the piano soloist. 18. Andrea Bocelli and his son Matteo contributed the original duet Fall on Me for the film, which premiered on Dancing with the Stars Disney Night on October 22, 2018. 19. The film's soundtrack album was released on October 26, 2018, by Walt Disney Records. 18. Release. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms was released on November 2, 2018, by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, replacing the original date set for Disney's live-action adaptation of Mulan. 2021. Box office. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms grossed $54.9 million in the United States and Canada, and $119.1 million in other territories, for a total worldwide gross of $174 million. 3. Deadline Hollywood calculated the film lost the studio $75 to $90 million when factoring together all expenses and revenues. 4. The film's status as a box office flop was attributed by the Wrap to a poor release date only 2 days after Halloween, a bloated budget and a lack of interest on the behalf of audiences in the Nutcracker concept. 22. In the United States and Canada, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms was released alongside Nobody's Fool and Bohemian Rhapsody, and was projected to gross $20 to $24 million from 3,766 theaters in its opening weekend. 23. It made $5.89 million on its first day, including $625,000 from Thursday night previews, the lowest figure for a Disney film released in over 2,000 theaters since The Finest Hours in January 2016. It went on to debut at $20.35 million, finishing second behind Bohemian Rhapsody. It was the third big-budgeted film to post a disappointing opening for Disney in 2018 after A Wrinkle in Time and Solo, A Star Wars Story, although Deadline Hollywood, who blamed the early November release date and poor reviews, noted Disney's Marvel and Pixar films from 2018 would offset any possible losses the film would suffer. 2. The film fell 53% in its second week to $9.5 million, finishing fourth. 24. The film was released in 45 other countries alongside the US, grossing $39.2 million. As of December 23, 2018, its top markets were China, $16.2 million, Italy, $11.1 million, Germany, $9.4 million, and the United Kingdom, $7.1 million. 25. Home media. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K UHD on January 29, 2019 by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment. Blu-ray extras include featurettes, 5 deleted scenes, and music videos for Fall on Me by Andrea Bocelli featuring his son Matteo Bocelli, and Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker Suite performed by Lang Lang. 26. Reception. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 32% based on 203 reviews with an average rating of 5.1/10. The website's critical consensus reads, lacking a transporting Yuletide story or dazzling dance routines, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms is a hollow holiday confection that's lovely to look at, and easy to forget. 27. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 39 out of 100, based on 38 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. 28 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B+ on an A+ to F scale. 29 post-track reported filmgoers gave it 49% definite recommend. 2. David Ehrlich of IndieWire gave the film a grade of D+, calling the film empty but eye-popping. He went on to write, "Watching a visually spectacular but virtually soulless new family movie like The Nutcracker and The Four Realms, it's tempting to wonder if such eye-popping dreck has any hope of sticking with impressionable young audiences. Is there any chance that the kids of today might be nostalgic for this hyper-saturated nonsense tomorrow?" 30. Alonso Durald of The Wrap also gave the film a negative review, writing, "The child travels to a magical land and learns things trope has been the basis of many beloved stories, from The Wizard of Oz to The Phantom Tollbooth to The Chronicles of Narnia. But it's not a foolproof device, particularly when the magical land in question never makes much narrative sense. Besides, how can the Four Realms be magical when the London where Clara already lives is so obviously a cartoon? Both the real world and the fake one are ugly, overdone, and lacking any visual connection to gravity, let alone reality." Mackenzie. Christine Foy, born November 10, 2001, is an American actress and model. Her breakout role was as Renee Smeekolen in the 2012 film The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 2, which earned her a Young Artist Award nomination for Best Supporting Young Actress in a Feature Film. 2-3 She is also known for portraying Cindy Perron in the Conjuring universe and young Murph in Interstellar, 2014, the latter earning her a Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actor, among other awards nominations. She has also starred in The Nutcracker and The Four Realms, 2018, and Black Beauty, 2020. Early life. Foy was born on November 10, 2001 in Los Angeles, California, where she was raised. For her father, a truck driver, and mother, a homemaker, had no connections to the film industry. Foy began modeling at age 3, and started acting at age 8. 5 She is a practitioner of Taekwondo. 6. Career. Foy began modeling in print ads in 2004, working for Garnet Hill, Polo Ralph Lauren and Guess. 4-7-8 From there, she modeled for companies such as the Walt Disney Company, Mattel, and Gap. 9. Foy's acting career began when she was 8 years old, when she guest starred in television shows such as Till Death, Flash Forward, and Hawaii 5-0. In 2010, she was cast as Renee Smeekolen in the film adaptation of Stephenie Meyer's book Breaking Dawn, the fourth and final novel in the Twilight Saga series. The first movie, The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 1, in which Renee Smee is shown only in a flash forward, was released on November 18, 2011, while the second, The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 2, on November 16, 2012. Mackenzie Foy at the 2012 San Diego Comic-Con. In February 2012, she joined the cast of James Wan's horror film The Conjuring. Shooting on the film began in February 2012 in North Carolina 11 and it was released in July 2013. In February, she was also in the last episode of the second season of the horror TV series R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour, in which she played Natalie, a girl who goes to live with her grandfather and discovers that a doll she was given is alive and has bad intentions. 12. On October 10, 2012, Foy joined Wagner on tour and Wish You Well, the film adaptation of David Baldacci's book, where she played the lead. 13. On November 17, 2012, Foy was in another episode of R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour, playing Georgia Lumen. 14. In 2014, Foy appeared in Erica Dunton's movie Black-Eyed Dog. Foy co-starred as the childhood version of Matthew McConaughey's daughter in Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. She provided the voice of Celestine in the English dub of Ernest and Celestine, 2012, Violet in the Boxcar Children, 2014, and the little girl in The Little Prince, 2015. In July 2016, it was announced that Foy would play the lead role of Clara in the film The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. 15-16. In May 2019 it was announced that Foy would co-star with Kate Winslet in a new adaptation of Black Beauty, which was filmed in the fall of 2019 and was released in 2020. 1718. In December 2024, it was reported that Foy would appear alongside Sean Bean and Odia Rush in The Isolate Thief, directed by John Suits. Keira Christina Knightley, Kr Knightley Keira Knightley, born March 26, 1985, is an English actress. Known for her work in independent films and blockbusters, particularly period dramas, she has received numerous accolades, including nominations for 2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Film Awards, 4 Golden Globes, and a Laurence Olivier Award. In 2018, she was appointed an OBE at Buckingham Palace for services to drama and charity. 1. Born in London to English actor Will Knightley and Scottish playwright Sharman MacDonald, Knightley obtained an agent at age 6 and initially worked in commercials and television films. Following a minor role as Sabe in Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1999, her breakthrough came when she played a tomboy footballer in Bend It Like Beckham, 2002, and co-starred in Love Actually, 2003. She achieved global recognition for playing Elizabeth Swann in the Pirates of the Caribbean film series, 2003 to 2007, 2017. For her portrayal of Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, 2005, Knightley was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress. She starred in several more period films over the next few years, including Atonement, 2007, The Duchess, 2008, A Dangerous Method, 2011, and Anna Karenina, 2012. She took on contemporary set parts in Begin Again, 2013, and Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, 2014, and returned to historical films playing Joan Clark in The Imitation Game, 2014, earning a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She has since starred as the title character in Colette, 2018, journalist Loretta McLaughlin in Boston Strangler, 2023, and a spy in the thriller series Black Doves, 2024. On stage, Knightley has appeared in 2 West End productions, The Misanthrope in 2009, which earned her an Olivier Award nomination, and The Children's Hour in 2011. She also starred as the titular heroine in the 2015 Broadway production of Therese Requin. Knightley is known for her outspoken stance on social issues and has worked extensively with Amnesty International, Oxfam, and Comic Relief. She is married to musician James Wrighton, with whom she has 2 daughters. Early life and education. Keira Christina Knightley was born on March 26, 1985 in the southwestern London suburb of Teddington, to stage actor Will Knightley and playwright Sharman MacDonald. Her father is English and her mother is of Scottish and Welsh descent. 3. Knightley has an older brother, Caleb. 4. MacDonald worked as a playwright after her acting career came to an end. Knightley's parents encountered substantial financial difficulties following the birth of her brother. 5. Her father, a middling actor, agreed to a second child only if her mother sold a script first. However, her parents' varying degrees of success did not deter Knightley's curiosity about the profession. 6. MacDonald introduced her children to theater and ballet very early. 7. Inspiring Knightley's interest in acting. 8. Knightley attended Teddington School. 9. She was diagnosed with dyslexia at 6, but by the time she was 11, with her parents' support, she says, they deemed me to have got over it sufficiently. She is still a slow reader and cannot read out loud. 10. Due to her hard time reading, the school classified her as having special educational needs, which made her feel discouraged. Her parents used the promise of acting to encourage her to work harder. 11. She was meant to be named Keira, the anglicized form of Kira, after the Soviet figure skater Kira Ivanova, whom her father admired. However, MacDonald, who is dyslexic, misspelt the name when she registered her daughter's birth certificate, writing the E before the I. 12 Knightley has said she was single-minded about acting. 13 At age 3, she requested to obtain an agent like her parents and secured one at 6. This led to her taking a number of small parts in television dramas. 14 She acted in a number of local amateur productions, which included After Juliet, written by her mother, and United States, written by her drama teacher. Knightley began studying her A-levels at Esher College in Surrey but left after a year to pursue an acting career. 15 Her mother's friends encouraged her to go to drama school, which she declined for financial and professional reasons. 16. Career. 1993 to 2002, Career Beginnings and Breakthrough. Knightley's costume from Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1999, on display at the Detroit Institute of Arts. After obtaining an agent at age 6, Knightley began working in commercials and small television roles. Her first on-screen appearance was in the 1993 Screen 1 television episode titled Royal Celebration. She then played Natasha Jordan, a young girl whose mother is involved in an extramarital affair, in the romantic drama A Village Affair, 1995. After appearing in a spate of television films through the mid to late 1990s, including Innocent Lies, 1995, The Treasure Seekers, 1996, Coming Home, 1998, and Oliver Twist, 1999, 17 Knightley landed the role of Sabe, Padme Amidala's handmaiden and decoy, in the 1999 science fiction blockbuster Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Her dialogue was dubbed over by Natalie Portman, who played Padme. Knightley was cast in the role because of her close resemblance to Portman. Even the two actresses' mothers had difficulty telling their daughters apart when they were in full makeup. 18. In her first major role, the 2001 Walt Disney Productions television film Princess of Thieves, Knightley played the daughter of Robin Hood. In preparation for the part, she trained for several weeks in archery, fencing, and riding. 19 Concurrently, she appeared in The Hole, a thriller that received a direct-to-video release in the US. The film's director Nick Ham described her as a young version of Julie Christie. 20 Knightley also took on the role of Lara Antipova in the 2002 miniseries adaptation of Dr. Zhivago, to positive reviews and high ratings. 21 In the same year, Knightley starred as a pregnant drug addict in Gillies MacKinnon's drama film Pure. Co-starring Molly Parker and Harry Eaton, the film had its world premiere at the 2002 Toronto International Film Festival. 22 In a retrospect review for AboutFilm.com, Carlo Cavagna noted Knightley's screen presence and wrote that although Knightley doesn't have half of Parker's ability, she has spunk and grit and shines brightly in Pure. 23. Knightley landed a breakthrough role when she starred in Gurinder Chadha's sports comedy film Bended Like Beckham, which was a box office hit in the UK and US. 24 Knightley portrayed Jules, a tomboy football player struggling against social norms who convinces her friend to pursue the sport. 25 The film surprised critics who were laudatory of its charming and inspiring nature, social context, and the cast's performances. 26 Knightley and her co-star Parminder Nagra attracted international attention for their performances. 27 Critic James Berardinelli, who was largely laudatory of the film and the energetic and likable cast, noted that Knightley and Nagra brought a lot of spirit to their instantly likable characters. 28 To prepare for their roles, they underwent 3 months of extensive football training under the English football coach Simon Clifford. Knightley was initially skeptical of the project. In an interview with Tracy Smith she said, "I remember telling friends I was doing this girls' soccer movie, and nobody thought that it was gonna be any good." 29. 2003 to 2007, Pirates of the Caribbean and worldwide recognition. Knightley at the premiere of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, 2006. Knightley was cast as Elizabeth Swann in the 2003 American fantasy swashbuckler film Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. 30 The film, based on the Disney theme park attraction, revolves around infamous buccaneer Jack Sparrow and blacksmith Will Turner rescuing Swan, in possession of a cursed golden medallion, from 18th century pirates. 31 The producers Jerry Bruckheimer and Gore Verbinski cast Knightley for her indescribable quality, reminiscent of motion picture stars from Hollywood's heyday. 32. Knightley underestimated the stunt work required and believed she would primarily be sitting in carriages. At one point during filming, she stood for 2 days on a plank and rejected a stunt double's offer to jump off the platform for the scene. 32-33 Despite boasting the names of stars like Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom and a $135 million budget, Pirates was expected to fail at the box office. 34 Knightley herself was not optimistic about its prospects. 35 The film opened at number 1 on the box office, and became one of the highest-grossing releases of the year, with worldwide revenues of $654 million. 36 Elvis Mitchell of the New York Times likened Knightley's strident and confident physical assurance to that of Nicole Kidman, while Keith Phipps of the AV Club described her and Bloom as appealing leads. 37-38 Also in 2003, Knightley appeared in Richard Kiddis's Christmas-themed romantic comedy Love Actually, featuring an ensemble cast, which included her childhood idol Emma Thompson. 39-40 Knightley played Juliet, a woman whose fiancé's best man is secretly in love with her. 41 Peter Travers of Rolling Stone criticized the waste of Knightley's talent in a nothing role. 42 While Megan Connor of The Guardian remarked that the film turned Knightley into a household name. 16 Love Actually has been referred to as a modern-day Christmas classic. 43 Knightley believes the film's trajectory to be extraordinary, given that its popularity resurfaced a few years after the film's release. 44 Knightley's only release of 2004 was the historical film King Arthur, where she played Guinevere, a warrior queen and the wife of the titular character. 45 The part required her to learn boxing, archery, and riding. 39-46 The critic A.O. Scott praised Knightley for throwing herself bodily into every scene. 47 Although the film received unfavorable reviews, Knightley's stature as a performer grew. She was voted by the readers of Hello magazine as the industry's most promising teen star. 48 and featured in Time magazine's article, which stated that she seemed dedicated to develop herself as a serious actor rather than a film star. 49. Knightley attending the premiere of Pride and Prejudice at the 2005 Toronto International Film Festival, the role earned Knightley her first Academy Award nomination. Knightley appeared in 3 films in 2005, the first of which was the psychological thriller The Jacket, co-starring Adrian Brody. 50 In a mixed review for Empire, Kim Newman wrote that the role was unlike the ones she had previously taken up, getting out of period gear and talking American, tries to broaden her range and is arguably well cast. 51 Knightley next played the titular character in Tony Scott's French-American action film Domino, based on the life of Domino Harvey. The film's release was delayed on several occasions and, on its eventual release in November, it received negative reviews and performed poorly at the box office. 52. Knightley's most successful release of the year was Pride and Prejudice, a period drama based on Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice. 53 The director Joe Wright cast Knightley for her tomboyish nature combined with a lively mind and sense of humor. 54 Knightley, who had admired the book from a young age 55 said of her character, "The beauty of Elizabeth is that every woman who ever reads the book seems to recognize herself, with all her faults and imperfections." 55. On release, the film became a huge commercial success, with total collections of around $120 million worldwide, and received positive reviews from critics. 56 Writing for The Guardian, Peter Bradshaw labeled her performance of beauty, delicacy, spirit, and wit, in her growing luster and confidence, and Derek Elley of Variety found her luminous strength to be reminiscent of a young Audrey Hepburn. 57-58 Knightley earned Best Actress in a Leading Role nominations at the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards for her performance at age 20, becoming the third youngest nominee for the latter. 59 Knightley's consecutive successes came with increased media scrutiny, and she later admitted to experiencing struggles with her mental health during this period. 60. Knightley at the premiere of Atonement held at the Odeon Leicester Square in London on September 4, 2007. Knightley was invited to join the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, among other artists in 2006. 61 In 2004, the second and third films of the Pirates of the Caribbean series were conceived, with screenwriters Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio developing a story arc that would span both sequels, in which Knightley reprised her role as Elizabeth Swann. The plot of the film sees Swan buck convention to seek adventure and become fierce pirate and fighter to match the skills of Sparrow and her love interest, Turner. 62 The sequel installments allowed Knightley to study sword fighting, which she had sought to do since the first film. 32 Filming for the projects took place in 2005, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest released in July 2006, with the worldwide collections of $1.066 billion, becoming the biggest financial hit of Knightley's career. 63 The third installment in the series, Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End, was released in May, the following year. 64 A.O. Scott termed her performance a vision of imperial British pluckiness, with an intriguing dash of romantic recklessness that surfaces toward the end. 65 In November 2006, it was reported that Knightley didn't want to participate in any further sequels. 66 By 2010, both Knightley and Orlando Bloom had repeatedly been quoted in saying they wanted to move on. 67 68 69 Knightley's continued association with period dramas yielded varying results, as seen with two of her 2007 releases, François Girard's Silk, and Joe Wright's Atonement, the feature film adaptations of the novels by Alessandro Baricco and Ian McEwan respectively. 70 The former project failed at the box office, while the latter became a critical and commercial success. Knightley played Cecilia Tallis, the elder of the two Tallis sisters, who struggles with a wartime romance with her love interest, played by James McAvoy. 71 She admitted that the pacing on the smaller, more intimate film was an adjustment compared to the Pirates franchise. 72 In preparing for the film, Knightley studied the novel as well as the naturalism of the performance as seen in films from the 1930s and 1940s, such as In Which We Serve, 1942, and Brief Encounter, 1945. 73-72 She admired the multi-layered and fascinating nature of her character's behavior. 74 Knightley's performance won the Empire Award for Best Actress 75 and earned her nominations for the BAFTA and the Golden Globes Awards, also in the leading actress categories. 76 The critic Richard Roper, who thought the lead duo were superb in their respective roles, was puzzled by their failure to receive Academy Award nominations. 77 The green dress worn by Knightley during the film's climactic scene garnered substantive press attention, and was subsequently regarded as one of the greatest costumes in film history. 78 79 80 2008 to 2013, independent films and stage work. Knightley appeared alongside Sienna Miller, Cillian Murphy, and Matthew Rhys in John Mayberry's 2008 wartime drama The Edge of Love. The film had her play the role of Vera Phillips, a childhood friend of Welsh poet Dylan Thomas and his wife Caitlin McNamara. Knightley wrote the script with her mother, Sharman MacDonald, with McNamara in mind. 81 After Knightley signed on, her character's role was increased with the film focusing on her romance with a British soldier. 81 Knightley connected to Vera's quietness, and described her as tragic and beautiful. 81 She based her performance on Marlene Dietrich, and was to mime to her pre-recorded voice, before being told by Mayberry to sing live. Knightley initially felt embarrassed to do so, saying she shook like a leaf but eventually went through with the plan. 81 The film became a moderate critical and commercial success. 82 Knightley's performance and singing abilities were praised. The Independent noted that Knightley gives Vera an independence and complexity that's eons ahead, while the Los Angeles Times wrote the film belongs to the women, with Knightley going from strength to strength, and showing she can sing. 83. Knightley received critical acclaim for her portrayal of 18th-century aristocrat Georgiana Cavendish in The Duchess, 2008. Knightley then starred as the 18th-century English aristocrat Georgiana Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire in Saul Dibb's period drama The Duchess, 2008, based on the best-selling biographical novel, Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire by Amanda Foreman. 84. The film tells the story of Georgiana's rise in society as a socio-political tastemaker after her marriage disintegrates. 85. The script Knightley was sent was covered in huge white ostrich feathers and a gold ribbon. 86. Gabrielle Tana, the film's producer, stated Knightley brought an instinctive understanding of such aspects of Georgiana's life as a celebrity from her own experiences. 87. Knightley was attracted to her character's strength and status as a political influence and fashion prowess, while being inwardly vulnerable and isolated. 86. Simon Crook of Empire described her performance as an enigmatic, free-spirited turn and a role she'll be remembered for, probably her best role to date in a film not directed by Joe Wright. 88. The following year, she was nominated for a British Independent Film Award for Best Actress. 89. A film adaptation of William Shakespeare's tragedy King Lear set to star Knightley and Anthony Hopkins was cancelled due to recession. 90. Knightley made her West End debut with Martin Crimp's version of Moliere's comedy The Misanthrope. Starring Knightley, Damian Lewis, Tara Fitzgerald, and Dominic Rowan, the play was staged at the Comedy Theatre in December 2009. She portrayed Jennifer, a shallow, amorous, and vulnerable American film star who is courted by an analytical and voracious playwright. 91. Knightley chose the role as she felt that if I don't do theater right now, I think I'm going to start being too terrified to do it, and described the production as an extraordinary and incredibly fulfilling experience. She was skeptical of her performance. 92. Paul Taylor of The Independent remarked that Knightley was not only strikingly convincing, but, at times, rather thrilling in its satiric aplomb. 93. However, The Guardian's Michael Billington noted that due to the nature of the role, one could say that she is not unduly stretched. 94. In recognition of her theater debut, Knightley was nominated for the Laurence Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role and an Evening Standard Award. 95. Knightley began the new decade with 3 films. She remarked that her work during this period helped her empathize with people or with situations that I don't necessarily find it easy to empathize with. 96. 2 of the productions, Masih Tajudin's romantic drama Last Night and William Monahan's crime noir film London Boulevard, opened to mixed responses from critics and rank among the lowest grossing films in Knightley's career. 97. 63. Knightley's other release, Never Let Me Go, an adaptation of Kazuo Ishijiro's novel of the same name, fared better at the box office and received positive reviews. Knightley described the script as unique, one that made the reader think. 96. Co-starring Andrew Garfield and Carey Mulligan, Knightley played Ruth, one of 3 graduates of an autocratic boarding school that discovers their fates in a dystopia. 98. 99. She appeared in a video installation by artist Stuart Pearson Wright titled Maze. 100. Knightley at the 2011 Venice Film Festival. Knightley starred in a 2011 revival of The Children's Hour by Lillian Hellman at the Comedy Theatre in London. 101. She portrayed Karen Wright, an engaged schoolteacher accused of lesbianism in 1934. 102. Ben Brantley of the New York Times commented that her performance showed an intensity and credible fierceness within the outdated material. 102. Knightley's sole film release of 2011 was David Cronenberg's historical drama A Dangerous Method, co-starring Viggo Mortensen, Michael Fassbender, and Vincent Cassel. Based on writer Christopher Hampton's 2002 stage play The Talking Cure and set on the eve of World War I, the film depicts the turbulent relationships between fledgling psychiatrist Carl Jung, his mentor Sigmund Freud, and Sabina Spillrain. Knightley portrayed Spillrain, the troubled but beautiful young psychoanalyst who comes between Jung and Freud. 103 Knightley spent 4 months reading and discussing her character's behavior with psychologists to prepare for the role. 105 She appreciated the depth and variety of her character arc, which she viewed as rare for female roles. 106 The film premiered at the 68th Venice International Film Festival to a positive reception, while Knightley earned generally favorable reviews by critics, with Andrew O'Hehir of Salon hailing her as the real star of this film. 107 Knightley co-starred with Steve Carell in the 2012 comedy drama Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, which was critically panned. 108 Later that year, she reunited with director Joe Wright to film their third production, Anna Karenina, in which she starred as the title character. 110 She deemed this collaboration the most important of her career. 112 Knightley viewed that her character's complex moral culpability was in question, but attracted compassion. 112 Knightley received positive reviews for her performance, prompting early Oscar buzz. 113 Batsy Sharkey of the Los Angeles Times wrote that Knightley puts hearts and anguish on the line in trying to bring an emotional reality. 114 The 2013 Toronto International Film Festival saw the premiere of Knightley's first musical film Begin Again with Mark Ruffalo. Directed by John Carney, the film had its theatrical release in 2014. The Guardian found Knightley and Ruffalo to be nicely natural as the increasingly idealistic musos. 115 Carney later repeatedly criticized Knightley's performance in the film, saying she was not convincing enough in portraying a singer-songwriter and derogatorily referred to her as a model. 116 He later apologized to her via Twitter for his comments. 117 Knightley later remarked that music never sinks in for her, and she is more interested in books and drama. 118 Later that year, she appeared in Karl Lagerfeld's short-period film Once Upon a Time. 119 2014, present, biographical and political roles. Knightley at the premiere of Laggies, 2014. In July 2014, Knightley stated that she had reached the end of the first stage of her career, and wished to depart from neurotic roles. 118 2014 began for Knightley with the spy thriller Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, the 5th installment in the film series, alongside Chris Pine. 120 She portrayed Dr. Kathy Muller, Ryan's eventual wife. Knightley sought to do a lighter film than her previous work, looked forward to working with director Kenneth Branagh. 121 The film received mixed critical reviews, nonetheless strong box office response. 122 Knightley's next film Laggies, premiered at the 2014 Sundance Film Festival. 123 A romantic comedy also starring Chloe Grace Moretz and Sam Rockwell, the film follows the life of Megan, played by Knightley, a 28-year-old overeducated underachiever going through a quarter-life crisis. Knightley empathized with her character's delayed maturity and appreciated the film's telling from a female perspective. 124 Laggies opened to mostly positive reviews from critics, with Knightley's performance praised by critics. 125 Inku Kong of the Rap referred to her as a loose-limbed revelation and lauded her delightfully uncouth performance. 126. The film was followed by her appearance in Morton Tildom's historical drama The Imitation Game, a film based on the life of British mathematician Alan Turing, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Knightley portrayed cryptanalyst and numismatist Joan Clark, who decrypted German intelligence codes for the British government during World War II with Turing. 127 Knightley researched interviews with Clark, and sought to keep her upper-class quality, drawing on the depth of her emotions and protectiveness of Turing from the script. 128 The Imitation Game became a critical and commercial success, grossing over $233.6 million. 129 For her performance, Knightley received her second Academy Award and BAFTA Award nominations, and third Golden Globe Award nomination, all for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. 127 Conversely, Lady Jean Ford, who worked with Clark and Turing, felt Knightley was nothing like Clark and was too beautiful to play her. 130. Knightley's sole release in 2015 was as part of the ensemble cast in the biographical disaster film Everest. The film was based on the 1996 Mount Everest disaster, with Knightley portraying mountaineer Rob Hall's wife. 131 Everest opened to generally positive reviews from critics. 132 Variety wrote that Knightley gave a deeply felt performance as a woman haunted by the possibility of losing her spouse. 133 In October 2015, Knightley made her Broadway debut playing the title role in Helen Edmondson's adaptation of Émile Zola's Therese Requin at Studio 54. 134 Knightley took the role after turning down the project twice, as she thought herself incapable of playing the part. She found interest in her character's caged circumstance, as well as her dark, active role in the play, as she sought to depart from passive supporting roles. 135 Of her performance, Alexandra Villarreal of the Huffington Post wrote, "She fumes, and rages, and withdraws, and you can watch her psychological evolution from stifled wife to impassioned mistress to haunted murderer." 136. In 2016, it emerged that Knightley was set to star in a feature biopic about 18th-century Russian Empress Catherine the Great, directed by Barbra Streisand, which has not come to fruition. 137 Knightley appeared in the ensemble drama Collateral Beauty, 2016, alongside Will Smith, Edward Norton, Kate Winslet, and Helen Mirren. 138 The film was critically panned. 139 and earned the cast a Razzie nomination. 140 Despite previously stating on a number of occasions that she would never return to the Pirates of the Caribbean series since 2006. 66-69 Knightley reprised the role of Elizabeth Swann with a cameo appearance in 2017's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, after test audiences repeatedly inquired about her character. 141. Knightley starred in the biographical drama Colette as the titular French author. The film sees Colette's social ascent in Belle Epoque society through her provocative novels, but she is exploited by her husband, who plagiarizes her work. 142 Knightley believed the film connected strongly to modern-day feminism, and depicted cultural change in gender politics. To prepare for the part, Knightley read Colette's novels, among them The Vagabond and Cherie, and initially planned to visit her birthplace of Burgundy, France. She found the author inspiring, and admired her imperfections as well as her courage. 143 The film, released at the Sundance Film Festival, was critically successful, with Knightley's performance receiving acclaim. 144 Manala Dargis of the New York Times praised her vibrance and expressive physicality, and Jordan Hoffmann of The Guardian wrote that the film saw Knightley in top form, luminous, clever, sexy, and sympathetic. 145-146. Knightley was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in the 2018 Birthday Honours for services to drama and charity. 147. The same year, she played the Sugar Plum Fairy in Disney's adaptation of The Nutcracker, titled The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, which was critically panned. 148-149 In 2019, Knightley co-starred in The Aftermath, a film adaptation of the novel by Redian Brooke, alongside Alexander Skarsgård. 150-151 Knightley played Rachel, a cold and complex British Army wife traumatized by her son's death by a German bomb. The film sees her and her husband move to Germany while dealing with grief. 152 The film received mixed reviews. 151-153-154 The Boston Globe's Ty Burr credited Knightley for adding conviction, grace, heart, and nerve to the film. 153 While Katie Walsh of the Los Angeles Times felt Knightley and Skarsgård were too reserved. 154 Knightley portrayed whistleblower Catherine Gunn in Official Secrets, 2019, 155, which was premiered at the Sundance Film Festival on January 28, 2019 to positive reviews. 156 Knightley believed the film's depiction of Iraq War and government accountability connected with modern politics. 157 Writing for The Guardian, Peter Bradshaw praised Knightley's focused, plausible and sympathetic performance. 158 Gunn also expressed her contentment with the film. 159 Knightley's first role of the decade was feminist activist Sally Alexander in Misbehaviour Hour, 2020, a film about the crowning of the first black contestant at the 1970 Miss World competition. 161 The film discusses the nuances of intersectionality in second-wave feminism. Knightley was drawn to the political aspects of the project. 162 Misbehaviour Hour was received positively. 163 With Variety's Guy Lodge dubbing Knightley likable as ever but admitted she portrays the least intriguing figure. 164 Knightley was due to produce and star in The Essex Serpent, an Apple TV Plus adaptation of Sarah Perry's novel 165 but dropped out over concerns about access to childcare during the lockdown period of the COVID-19 pandemic. 166 She starred in the 2021 holiday comedy Silent Night. 167 Knightley voiced the lead role in the dramatic animated film Charlotte, a true story about a young artist during the Holocaust. 168 Knightley took a year off work to spend time with family. 169 In 2023, she portrayed reporter Loretta McLaughlin in the crime drama film Boston Strangler based on the infamous true story of Boston Strangler murders. 170 In the following year, she starred as a spy in the Netflix thriller series Black Doves. 171 For her performance, she was nominated for the Critics' Choice Television Award and the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Television Series Drama. 172 173 Knightley stars in the mystery thriller The Woman in Cabin 10 as a journalist. In 2025, she performed the role of Dolores Umbridge in the Audible Harry Potter audiobook. This was met with controversy due to an ongoing boycott of Harry Potter over the author's views on transgender people, to which Knightley laughed and claimed she was not aware. 174 175 Before saying that we're all going to have to figure out how to live together, aren't we? And we've all got very different opinions. I hope that we can all find respect. 176 177 178 Keira and Joe Wilkinson starred in the Waitrose Christmas adverts for 2025. 179 180 Public image. Knightley at the 2011 Toronto International Film Festival. Off-screen, Jeffrey McNabb of The Independent describes Knightley as sensible and self-deprecating. 10 And Elizabeth Day of Harper's Bazaar says of Knightley's persona, she is extremely nice, swears more than you might think and, yes, effortlessly beautiful. 181 Writing for the New York Times, Jessie McKinley stated that Knightley is known for her ability to sparkle and charm in several accents, while her Therese Requin co-star, Judith Light, praised her down-to-earth demeanor, intelligence, and sense of humor. 134 Knightley has been described as famously open with media, 182 though she has asserted the contrary. 183 During the 2000s, Knightley faced an extraordinary amount of vitriol from the press. 16 The Guardian wrote that if she is not too pretty to be worthy of her success, she is too posh, too thin. If there is a more valid reason why, they often struggle to articulate it. 16 Despite multiple successful films and award nominations, the criticism affected her, and Knightley felt that she didn't know her trade. 184 Media scrutiny decreased as her career progressed, and she spaces out her public appearances to maintain attention on her films. 128 Beginning in the 2010s, Knightley regained confidence in her abilities, and by the release of Colette, 2018, she felt she had learned her craft and mentally occupied a good place where I feel pretty confident about what I can do. 184. Several publications have described Knightley as one of the finest actresses of her generation. 185, 186, 187. Knightley has been widely recognized for her extensive repertoire of period dramas throughout her career. 188, 189, 190. She identifies with breaking out of that image of femininity and appreciates period films' overt cage to demonstrate such. 189. Writer Anne Helen Peterson states that the varying personalities of her historical roles are united in the larger idea Knightley represents, that of women ostensibly performing a version of proper womanhood all while quietly negotiating, or cracking under, the weight of doing so. 188. She has criticized contemporary set films, finding their depiction of sexual violence against women excessive. 191. Knightley is reputed for her signature strong female lead roles. 128. And she has been compared to actresses Katharine Hepburn, Greta Garbo, Audrey Hepburn, and Nicole Kidman. 188. 5737. In a 2004 BBC poll, she was named among the most influential people in British culture. 192. Knightley has often been ascribed to the English rose archetype. 193, 194, 195, 196. Knightley has been included several times on FHM's 100 Sexiest Women in the World list, making her first appearance in 2004 and topping the list in 2006. 197. She was included in every subsequent issue until 2009. 198. She was part of the American editions of the list from 2004 to 2006, and was also placed 9th on the Maxim Hot 100 list in 2006. 199. Other ventures. Advocacy and philanthropy. Knightley received media attention for her perspectives on feminism, voiced in an interview with Harper's Bazaar UK published in the February 2014 edition. She explained that women face greater hurdles in the film industry compared to their male counterparts, and also revealed that she was perplexed by the use of feminist in a derogatory sense. 200. Knightley posed topless for the September 2014 cover of Interview magazine, on condition that the image not be digitally altered, to draw attention to how women's bodies are a battleground and photography is partly to blame. 201. For International Women's Day 2014, Knightley was one of the artist signatories of Amnesty International's letter to British Prime Minister David Cameron, in which the organization campaigned for women's rights in Afghanistan. 202. After the birth of her first daughter, she penned an essay about childbirth, entitled The Weaker Sex, featured in the collection Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies. 203. Knightley does not shoot nude scenes for her films, unless directed by a female filmmaker. 204. Knightley is the face of an Amnesty International campaign to support human rights, marking the 60th anniversary of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. 205. In 2004, she traveled to Ethiopia alongside Richard Curtis, Sunji Bhaskar, and Julian Metcalf on behalf of the comic relief charity. 206. She posed for photos for WaterAid in 2005 and also for the American Library Association's Red Campaign, a promotional poster of Pride and Prejudice. 207. The dress she wore to the 2006 Academy Awards was donated to the charity Oxfam, where it raised £4,300. 208. In April 2009, Knightley appeared in a video to raise awareness of domestic abuse entitled Cut Shot for Women's Aid. 209. The video created controversy, with some sources calling it too graphic, while other groups support the video for showing a realistic depiction of domestic violence. 210. In November 2010, Knightley became patron of the SMA Trust, a British charity that funds medical research into the disease spinal muscular atrophy. 211 In July 2014, Knightley traveled to South Sudan on behalf of Oxfam to meet refugees of the South Sudanese civil war and raise awareness of the conflict. 212. In May 2016, Knightley signed a letter imploring Britain to vote Remain in the UK-EU referendum. The letter was also signed by John L. E. Kerr, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Danny Boyle among others. 213 Later, she appeared in a video aimed at encouraging younger people to vote in the referendum. 214 On September 12, 2016, Knightley, along with Cate Blanchett, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Peter Capaldi, Douglas Booth, Neil Gaiman, Jesse Eisenberg, Juliet Stevenson, Kit Harington, and Stanley Tucci, appeared in a video from the United Nations Refugee Agency UNRWA to help raise awareness of the global refugee crisis. The video, titled What They Took With Them, has the actors reading a poem, written by Jennifer Toxvig and inspired by primary accounts of refugees, and is part of UNRWA's #WithRefugees campaign, of which also includes a petition to governments to expand asylum to provide further shelter, integrating job opportunities, and education. 215 In September 2016, Knightley co-hosted A Night to Remember, part of the Green Carpet Challenge, a charity event highlighting sustainability within the fashion industry. 216. In September 2017, Knightley traded stocks on behalf of the Spinal Muscular Atrophy charity SMA Trust as part of the BGC Charity Day, which was set up to commemorate the stockbrokers who were killed during the September 11th attacks. 217 In April 2020, Knightley participated in a World Health Day live stream to raise money for charity during the COVID-19 pandemic. 218 In June 2020, she and other celebrities designed a range of pin badges for the #PinYourThanks campaign, dedicated to thanking essential workers. All profits went to NHS charities Together and Volunteering Matters. 219 In October 2020, she backed Made by Dyslexia, a global campaign to help teachers address dyslexic strengths. It has trained 250,000 teachers and started an online program. 220 Knightley participated in a skit entitled 2020 the Movie, commemorating Red Nose Day 2021. 221. Fashion endorsements. Knightley was the celebrity face for the luxury goods brands Esprit and Jiatzi Chen as well as Lux hair care products in Japanese television commercials. 222 In April 2006, she was confirmed as the new celebrity face of Chanel's perfume Coco Mademoiselle, though the first photo from the campaign was not released until May 2007. 223 Knightley has appeared in television commercials for Chanel directed by Joe Wright since 2007, and has endorsed Chanel fine jewelry's collection Coco Crush. 224 In 2008, Knightley was the highest-earning British Hollywood star according to the Forbes Celebrity 100 list 225 and was named amongst the most bankable actors in 2009. 226. Personal life. Knightley dated actors Del Sinat, 2001 to 2003, Jamie Dornan, 2003 to 2005, and Rupert Friend, 2005 to 2010. 227-228 She began a relationship with musician James Wrighton in February 2011. 229 They were married on May 4, 2013 in Mazan, France. 230 They have two daughters together, born in 2015 and 2019. 231-232 The family resides in Canonbury, Islington, London. 233 Knightley advocates equal paternity leave and has spoken about the expense of childcare in England. She remarked in 2016 on how lucky I've been to be able to afford really good childcare, otherwise it would be at least 4 years out of my career. 234-235. She has no social media profiles in an effort to preserve her family's privacy. 157. Knightley won a libel case against the Daily Mail in 2007 after it had falsely claimed that she had an eating disorder. Awarded £3,000 in damages, she added to the sum and donated £6,000 to Beat, a charity for those with mental illness and eating disorders. 236. In February 2010, a 41-year-old man was charged with harassment after trying to contact Knightley on several occasions outside London's Comedy Theatre, where she was performing in the Misanthrope. 237. The subsequent trial folded after she was unavailable to testify in court. 238. Another man was sentenced to 8 weeks in prison after harassing Knightley outside her home and stalking her in December 2016. 239. Knightley is an atheist. 240. In a 2025 interview with Caitlin Moran, when asked how she kept herself from breaking down or developing an addiction due to the pressures of fame, she responded, "Oh, I did go mad, believe me. I went mad. I just managed to hide it." She recalled various times when men showed up at her doorstep trying to get a reaction from her or following her on the street. After trying to evade them for a while. 11. She took a break from working in 2006. 241. Visiting numerous places in Europe and successfully evading paparazzi. 11. In 2018, Knightley revealed that she had a mental breakdown at age 22 and had been later diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, since she struggled to adjust to her sudden rise to stardom. She recounted how she did not leave her home for 3 months up until early 2008, and needed to have hypnotherapy to prevent panic attacks to enable her to attend that year's BAFTA Awards, where she was nominated for her performance in Atonement. 184. Acting credits and awards. Main articles, list of Keira Knightley performances and awards and nominations. According to the review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes, Knightley's most critically successful films are Bend It Like Beckham, 2002, Love Actually, 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, 2003, Pride and Prejudice, 2005, Atonement, 2007, The Duchess, 2008, Never Let Me Go, 2010, A Dangerous Method, 2011, The Imitation Game, 2014, Everest, 2015, Colette, 2018, Official Secrets, 2019, and Misbehaved Hour, 2020. Her television appearances include Oliver Twist, 1999, Princess of Thieves, 2001, and Dr. Zhivago, 2002. 17, 19, 21. On stage, Knightley has starred in The Misanthrope and The Children's Hour at the Harold Pinter Theatre, as well as in Therese Requin at the Roundabout Theatre Company. 242. 243. Knightley has received 2 Academy Award nominations, Best Actress for Pride and Prejudice, 2005, and Best Supporting Actress for The Imitation Game, 2014. She has been nominated at the Golden Globe Awards for the Best Actress, Motion Picture Comedy or Musical, Best Actress, Motion Picture Drama, Best Supporting Actress, Motion Picture categories, for her performances in Pride and Prejudice, 2005, Atonement, 2007, and The Imitation Game, 2014, respectively. 244. Knightley has twice been nominated at the British Academy Film Awards, Best Actress in a Leading Role for Atonement, 2007, and Best Actress in a Supporting Role for The Imitation Game, 2014. 245. She also received nomination for a Laurence Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role in a Play for The Misanthrope. 95. She won the Empire Award for Best Actress for her performance in Atonement, 2007, after 5 nominations. 75. Further reading. Connor, Megan, March 14, 2014. Keira Knightley, I used to try to be sensible and good and professional. The Guardian. McKinley, Jesse, October 21, 2015. Keira Knightley, making her Broadway debut, is not afraid of the dark. The New York Times. Peterson, Anne Helen, September 28, 2018. A Unified Theory of Keira Knightley. BuzzFeed News. See also: List of British actors. List of Academy Award winners and nominees from Great Britain. List of oldest and youngest Academy Award winners and nominees, youngest nominees for Best Actress in a Leading Role. List of actors with Academy Award nominations. List of actors with 2 or more Academy Award nominations in acting categories. List of atheists in film, radio, television, and theater. Keira Christina Knightley, /Kr Knightley /Keir Knightley, born March 26, 1985, is an English actress. Known for her work in independent films and blockbusters, particularly period dramas, she has received numerous accolades, including nominations for 2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Film Awards, 4 Golden Globes, and a Laurence Olivier Award. In 2018, she was appointed an OBE at Buckingham Palace for services to drama and charity. 1. Born in London to English actor Will Knightley and Scottish playwright Sharman MacDonald, Knightley obtained an agent at age 6 and initially worked in commercials and television films. Following a minor role as Sabe in Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1999, her breakthrough came when she played a tomboy footballer in Bend It Like Beckham, 2002, and co-starred in Love Actually, 2003. She achieved global recognition for playing Elizabeth Swann in the Pirates of the Caribbean film series, 2003 to 2007, 2017. For her portrayal of Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, 2005, Knightley was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress. She starred in several more period films over the next few years, including Atonement, 2007, The Duchess, 2008, A Dangerous Method, 2011, and Anna Karenina, 2012. She took on contemporary set parts in Begin Again, 2013, and Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, 2014, and returned to historical films playing Joan Clark in The Imitation Game, 2014, earning a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She has since starred as the title character in Colette, 2018, journalist Loretta McLaughlin in Boston Strangler, 2023, and a spy in the thriller series Black Doves, 2024. On stage, Knightley has appeared in 2 West End productions, The Misanthrope in 2009, which earned her an Olivier Award nomination, and The Children's Hour in 2011. She also starred as the titular heroine in the 2015 Broadway production of Therese Requin. Knightley is known for her outspoken stance on social issues and has worked extensively with Amnesty International, Oxfam, and Comic Relief. She is married to musician James Wrighton, with whom she has 2 daughters. Early life and education. Keira Christina Knightley was born on March 26, 1985 in the southwestern London suburb of Teddington, to stage actor Will Knightley and playwright Sharman MacDonald. Her father is English and her mother is of Scottish and Welsh descent. 3. Knightley has an older brother, Caleb. 4. MacDonald worked as a playwright after her acting career came to an end. Knightley's parents encountered substantial financial difficulties following the birth of her brother. 5. Her father, a middling actor, agreed to a second child only if her mother sold a script first. However, her parents' varying degrees of success did not deter Knightley's curiosity about the profession. 6. MacDonald introduced her children to theater and ballet very early. 7. Inspiring Knightley's interest in acting. 8. Knightley attended Teddington School. 9. She was diagnosed with dyslexia at 6, but by the time she was 11, with her parents' support, she says, they deemed me to have got over it sufficiently. She is still a slow reader and cannot read out loud. 10. Due to her hard time reading, the school classified her as having special educational needs, which made her feel discouraged. Her parents used the promise of acting to encourage her to work harder. 11. She was meant to be named Keira, the anglicized form of Kira, after the Soviet figure skater Keira Ivanova, whom her father admired. However, MacDonald, who is dyslexic, misspelled the name when she registered her daughter's birth certificate, writing the E before the I. 12. Knightley has said she was single-minded about acting. 13. At age 3, she requested to obtain an agent like her parents and secured one at 6. This led to her taking a number of small parts in television dramas. 14. She acted in a number of local amateur productions, which included After Juliet, written by her mother, and United States, written by her drama teacher. Knightley began studying her A-levels at Esher College in Surrey but left after a year to pursue an acting career. 15. Her mother's friends encouraged her to go to drama school, which she declined for financial and professional reasons. 16. Career. 1993 to 2002, career beginnings and breakthrough. Knightley's costume from Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1999, on display at the Detroit Institute of Arts. After obtaining an agent at age 6, Knightley began working in commercials and small television roles. Her first on-screen appearance was in the 1993 Screen 1 television episode titled Royal Celebration. She then played Natasha Jordan, a young girl whose mother is involved in an extramarital affair, in the romantic drama A Village Affair, 1995. After appearing in a spate of television films through the mid to late 1990s, including Innocent Lies, 1995, The Treasure Seekers, 1996, Coming Home, 1998, and Oliver Twist, 1999, 17. Knightley landed the role of Sabe, Padme Amidala's handmaiden and decoy, in the 1999 science fiction blockbuster Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Her dialogue was dubbed over by Natalie Portman, who played Padme. Knightley was cast in the role because of her close resemblance to Portman. Even the two actresses' mothers had difficulty telling their daughters apart when they were in full makeup. 18. In her first major role, the 2001 Walt Disney Productions television film Princess of Thieves, Knightley played the daughter of Robin Hood. In preparation for the part, she trained for several weeks in archery, fencing, and riding. 19. Concurrently, she appeared in The Hole, a thriller that received a direct-to-video release in the US. The film's director Nick Ham described her as a young version of Julie Christie. 20. Knightley also took on the role of Lara Antipova in the 2002 miniseries adaptation of Dr. Zhivago, to positive reviews and high ratings. 21. In the same year, Knightley starred as a pregnant drug addict in Gillies MacKinnon's drama film Pure. Co-starring Molly Parker and Harry Eaton, the film had its world premiere at the 2002 Toronto International Film Festival. 22. In a retrospect review for AboutFilm.com, Carlo Cavagna noted Knightley's screen presence and wrote that although Knightley doesn't have half of Parker's ability, she has spunk and grit and shines brightly in Pure. 23. Knightley landed a breakthrough role when she starred in Gurinder Chadha's sports comedy film Bended Like Beckham, which was a box office hit in the UK and US. 24. Knightley portrayed Jules, a tomboy football player struggling against social norms who convinces her friend to pursue the sport. 25. The film surprised critics who were laudatory of its charming and inspiring nature, social context, and the cast's performances. 26. Knightley and her co-star Parminder Nagra attracted international attention for their performances. 27. Critic James Berardinelli, who was largely laudatory of the film and the energetic and likable cast, noted that Knightley and Nagra brought a lot of spirit to their instantly likable characters. 28. To prepare for their roles, they underwent 3 months of extensive football training under the English football coach Simon Clifford. Knightley was initially skeptical of the project. In an interview with Tracy Smith she said, "I remember telling friends I was doing this girls' soccer movie, and nobody thought that it was gonna be any good." 29. 2003 to 2007, Pirates of the Caribbean and worldwide recognition. Knightley at the premiere of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, 2006. Knightley was cast as Elizabeth Swann in the 2003 American fantasy swashbuckler film Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. 30. The film, based on the Disney theme park attraction, revolves around infamous buccaneer Jack Sparrow and blacksmith Will Turner rescuing Swan, in possession of a cursed golden medallion, from 18th century pirates. 31. The producers Jerry Bruckheimer and Gore Verbinski cast Knightley for her indescribable quality, reminiscent of motion picture stars from Hollywood's heyday. 32. Knightley underestimated the stunt work required and believed she would primarily be sitting in carriages. At one point during filming, she stood for 2 days on a plank and rejected a stunt double's offer to jump off the platform for the scene. 32-33 Despite boasting the names of stars like Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom and a $135 million budget, Pirates was expected to fail at the box office. 34 Knightley herself was not optimistic about its prospects. 35 The film opened at number 1 on the box office, and became one of the highest grossing releases of the year, with worldwide revenues of $654 million. 36 Elvis Mitchell of the New York Times likened Knightley's strident and confident physical assurance to that of Nicole Kidman, while Keith Phipps of the AV Club described her and Bloom as appealing leads. 37-38 Also in 2003, Knightley appeared in Richard Kiddis's Christmas-themed romantic comedy Love Actually, featuring an ensemble cast, which included her childhood idol Emma Thompson. 39-40 Knightley played Juliet, a woman whose fiancé's best man is secretly in love with her. 41 Peter Travers of Rolling Stone criticized the waste of Knightley's talent in a nothing role. 42 While Megan Connor of The Guardian remarked that the film turned Knightley into a household name. 16 Love Actually has been referred to as a modern-day Christmas classic. 43 Knightley believes the film's trajectory to be extraordinary, given that its popularity resurfaced a few years after the film's release. 44 Knightley's only release of 2004 was the historical film King Arthur, where she played Guinevere, a warrior queen and the wife of the titular character. 45 The part required her to learn boxing, archery, and riding. 39-46 The critic A.O. Scott praised Knightley for throwing herself bodily into every scene. 47 Although the film received unfavorable reviews, Knightley's stature as a performer grew. She was voted by the readers of Hello magazine as the industry's most promising teen star. 48 And featured in Time magazine's article, which stated that she seemed dedicated to develop herself as a serious actor rather than a film star. 49 Knightley attending the premiere of Pride and Prejudice at the 2005 Toronto International Film Festival. The role earned Knightley her first Academy Award nomination.